Hey guys, back here with Secure Packet. Hey John, how's it going?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Hey, so yeah, it's been a little while since we circled back on some UFO news. We got the May UFO news kicking off. You know, we got our playlist. If everybody knows, I think most people do by now, right, John? That we kind of speak from our playlist that we build, throughout the month, and then we kind of bring up the current events that may or may not be happening in the UFO arena, or we also do Bigfoot news, which we just did one not too long ago for May as well. So
Yep.
the one we wanted to start off with is there's a very interesting one that is the best top UFO footage of 2018, and I think it was from Suspect Sky, one of those. There's several that we kind of use, I think, and anyhow, these videos, John, they were just awesome, weren't they? Just the different UFOs they showed in there.
Yeah, just to thumb through them and kind of relive what's been going on over the last year or so, or well, since the beginning of the year. It's hard to believe that it's almost Memorial Day. Which happy early Memorial Day to you guys out there. I hope you're having fun and being safe. Um, yeah, just amazing clips to filter through and to kind of kick us off. Did you have any particulars that you clips that you found uh, interesting or that stood out the most to you at all, Brett?
Yeah, there it's section 51, and the one that stood out the most to me really was right at the beginning of this clip. There's one where it follows basically a helicopter across the sky. It looks like it's probably Europe, um, and it basically follows this chopper, and it almost looks like a gunship itself. I mean, it's pretty amazing looking.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, and if there's any only thing that would make me think that there's any fakeness to this is the fact that the helicopter doesn't seem to react to it at all.
Which, if that were you or I mean, we'd be crapping puppies. So
Yeah, and I think I'd be doing evasive maneuvers in the
yeah, yeah,
chopper. Yeah.
to say the least. So it's yeah, I think that's a good point that you bring that up. I think it's incredible, but the fact that that like you said, there were no evasive maneuvers that were seen by the helicopter was kind of strange. But a great clip nonetheless. So
Yeah. And there's several others in this one too. John, do you remember the one in the snowfall on the street? That's included in this one, where it kind of crosses the road and the
yeah,
people try and follow it. That's part of this top 10, which is very interesting as well.
I know. Yeah, we've spoke about a similar. I think this might have been the same one. We spoke to that one. I think last one of our last UFO segments that where this guy was just taping it from the side of the road. Um,
Right.
and to me, I mean, it's hard to debunk that video just for. I mean, other than the fact that he wasn't losing it and trying to run away, he just stood there and filmed the thing. You know, I I mean, everything from the way it moves and the way that the elements interact around it, to me, was just very telling and hard to disprove that.
Yes, definitely. And then there's a couple more. One of them looks like it's about at the 1533 mark in the video. It looks like a bat almost flying through the air. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, that one was really interesting, but also the do you remember the one with the alien UFO with the craft, whatever it might be, following a plane while chemtrails were coming out the back of it? Do you remember that one?
No, that's in this same video, right?
Yeah, that's in that one that we're talking about as well. So
Hmm.
just yeah, you guys let us know what you think because there's so much in this one clip alone, and it's crazy to think that we're 5 or 6 months into the year and all this documentation that's been going on is pretty incredible.
Definitely, definitely, yeah. Yeah, if they truly are all from this year, not just kind of, dug up or whatever, which could happen. from years past, but it doesn't matter. It's all good stuff, anyways.
True,
Section
that's true.
Section
Yeah.
51 did a good job on this. I was gonna bring up too. Did you see the one by the waterfall where it was still
You
the
know what? I
same
don't
video?
recall that one, but
It was at the tail end, and it's pretty interesting. If you get a chance, go back, check it out. It's like hovering right in front of a waterfall, which I think would be if
to
there's any
revisit that one.
yeah, if they tried to fake that, I think it'd be I don't know Photoshop very well, but I think it'd be super hard to fake that too. You know, it it almost looks
Well,
like
that's how most of these are. It's like if it is like if it is a fake or a hoax, a lot of these people put a lot of time and energy and effort into faking these videos. So
true. Yeah, it almost looks like as if they were visitors riding in this thing and pulling up to the waterfall so everybody could take a look.
exactly, kind of like a Jungle Cruise tour, you know.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Anyhow, why don't you go on to the next one you were thinking of talking about?
yeah, one of the interesting videos that stood out to me over the last 4 or 5 in the playlist was this channel that brought up the fact of basically a theory called covert dark. And I can't remember the name of the channel right now, but basically the gist of it is he theorizing on how advanced civilizations, for lack of better words, can cloak their civilization between planets and solar systems to hide their footprint in the galaxy as to not being found. Which he gets into the details and the scientific breakdown of his theory, and it's pretty incredible, and bases it off of quite a few space telescope satellite pictures, and I just found it to be fascinating. So
Yeah.
basically, what he theorizes is these different civilizations of extraterrestrials or whatever you might want to call them, have the ability to hide themselves within solar systems or within galaxies from our perspective. And how they do that is basically they deploy a piece of technology similar to a satellite up and around star systems, like whether it be binary stars or single solar system suns or stars or whatever the case may be, that they could hide the heat signatures from said objects, whether it be stars or planets or whatever the case may be, that they're actually able to, for lack of better words, dim the heat signatures from their solar systems or galaxies and hide them from us. And the fact that is even that they're knowledgeable of us looking for them, and they're able to prevent or hide or mask that from happening is pretty incredible.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I just heard a little like UFO noise when you're on the phone there.
Yeah, it was called a Ford Mustang.
Wow.
Thinking he's hot stuff here in Southern California.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty good. You know, originally when I heard that name and kind of started watching the video, I was thinking, are they doing something? Because I've noticed at night sometimes it can be unusually dark, and like you wonder if, you know, they'll use darkness for different things to kind of cloak or whatever, but this is taking it to a whole new level. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I was just kind of rolling the video too, and it is you described it really well, as far as kind of how they. It almost looks like a black hole the way they do it.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, and to me it kind of seemed like, how when you're camouflaging yourself to the natural surroundings, and that's kind of what it seems like to me. It's not totally blocking out visibility, but it's limiting your ability to see in. And I kind of like I said, masking yourself in with the environment, and also he brings up quite a good point that through scientific research, these things don't just naturally happen within the universe. So
Right. Yep.
it lends more credibility to his theory, and I think it's just something to watch for you guys to check out, and let us know what you think down below. Definitely a good piece of research there.
Definitely. Yep. And it was by Suspect Sky.
There you go, Suspect Sky. I love that channel.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
So the other one I know we were wanting to talk about was I guess there's one video that we have recently here on the playlist from Secure Team. Love that channel as well. But basically, leading into the recent happenings of rumblings underground and obviously above ground too, that different residents worldwide, but mostly he focuses on the United States here, on people reporting flashes of light at night, and then very large, loud booms in places like Michigan, where and shaking the ground and houses and just places that doesn't happen. So he's kind of connecting UFO news along with these large, loud booms
right.
and seeming earthquakes as to being possibly one and the same. And so, yeah, that's definitely something to check out. And interestingly, too, he brought up that Elon Musk here in Los Angeles has obtained permits to drill a section of subway underground for the city of LA.
Right.
And he just theorizes and postulates that, hey, maybe there's something more to it. Maybe there's digging going on underground. Is it a natural occurrence? Are we seeing a massive worldwide plate shift of some seismic activity? So he's just trying to figure out how this is all playing together, how it all works, and what we're actually dealing with. I mean, you got the volcano going on in Hawaii, you have earthquakes here in California, you have things happening in Africa where the Rift Valley is splitting roads apart. I mean, just so many different things going on, but they all kind of seem to have a common thread. And I just found that video pretty incredible and telling for the odd happenings that are going on around the planet Earth right now. It's just an interesting time to be alive and watching it.
Right. Definitely. I mean, there's definitely, I think, Secure Team, he's right on, Tyler over there. We've noticed, and I think we talked about it last time, actually, on Bigfoot News. Please like and subscribe. We have a Bigfoot News that we do, monthly as well. That includes, in addition to Bigfoot talk, but kind of also other kind of unusual supernatural encounter type talk, which includes, like these earthquakes that have been going on, like John said. But that's actually a really interesting analogy, though, that, that Elon may be causing massive underground shifts with his Earth mover.
Yeah, and
tunnel. Yeah.
You have to wonder if he's doing that. I guess we're similar to Secure Team over there with Tyler. We obviously were seeking out the same truth, but we realize that whether it's Bigfoot news or UFO news or strange happenings, that they all tend to relate and correlate with each other. So that's why I love this particular video, because it really kind of brings things back home. And then we've talked about countless times how where UFO activity is prevalent, there also seems to be Bigfoot news following that as well. So yeah, right. You have to wonder. And hey, if Elon Musk is able to dig underground, I mean, what is our government doing? What are they capable of?
True.
Are there things we don't know about? Obviously there are. I mean, you and I know very well that there's with our military experience, there's things that happen that nobody ever hears about. So
right.
Yeah, you have to wonder whether things like that are going on, and if we're affecting the Earth and what's, as far as seismic activity and plate shifting and tectonics. And so, yeah, it really, that video definitely gives me pause and makes me stop and think about how everything, correlates with each other. And I think it's a great way to kind of get your mind thinking that way.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, he did a good job with it. And, I think he made a good point. We don't know, really, the government, whether it be UFOs, Bigfoots, maybe who knows what. They have a lot of secrets that I think they're trying to protect the public. I really want to believe that's their intention. I think if some of this gets out, I still believe that it'd be a little too mind-blowing, you know. I think, some of us have kind of open mindset to it all because we've, John, you've seen UFO, you've seen, um, you've had an encounter with Bigfoot, and I kind of have too. So, we're a little more receptive to it, but the average person who hasn't, and then kind of,
Yep.
there's two crowds, there's two different mindsets, and, and I think a lot of people, they really still do respect the government's word, and if they come out carte blanche and say, and there's been more and more people that have worked for the government have came out and said, there is different things, but nothing really official,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right that, people, most of the general public wouldn't be prepared for, like you said, just a abrasive in your face. Yeah. We had contact with such and such. I just don't, I think I think you're right. I think partially the government and powers to be are doing, if they're withholding information, then there's a reason for it. And part of that would be mass hysteria.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, to put it bluntly, that's very true. Lots of people, there are people like you and I that would be, okay, well, that's not so far fetched. But, if you were to tell a normal Joe walking down the street that, you know, yeah, we made contact with an alien race or what have you, that people would just lose their minds.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they're it's slowly coming back because what I've noticed in the last probably, I think we've talked about this about 3 or 4 years now, is that the mainstream media, is starting to both, UFO, Bigfoot, whatever, they're starting to report on it more. Where maybe,
Yeah.
5 years ago you rarely hear about it. To be kind of like, nah, we're not going there, But now they
Exactly.
do. So I think that's a big first step, to I think, it's gonna there it has to happen in order for us as a society kind of open our minds up to a larger, universal mindset of being able to explore the unknown. Because
Exactly.
otherwise, yeah, if we don't have, if we have kind of a limited mindset and think there's nothing beyond the earth as far as spacecraft or whatever, that's going to be very hard for us to even think about traveling to, the next solar system or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I was just reading the news today. Fox News, believe it or not, they had this article that I can't remember. I think it was in a rancher in Montana, and I might be wrong about that, but basically, this rancher shot what seemingly was like a hybrid wolf dog mix, which, it's just interesting. And the reason I bring it up is, yeah, it's interesting that scientists, they're studying this creature. They took the DNA from this dead animal that was shot, and they have yet to find a link in a common DNA structure of this animal. And it was funny, and who knows what it is, if it really even matters or not, if it was a coyote wolf dog mix, whatever.
Or chupa.
Yeah, exactly, chupa. Yeah. So, but it was interesting that the thing that really stuck out to me was in the article they brought up, they linked it to, and they mentioned crypto animals and crypto study. like Dogman, like Bigfoot, like
Hmm.
Skunk Ape. They actually said, oh, this maybe could be an explanation for the Dogman.
Wow.
Linking it to cryptozoology and that's like like you said a couple of years ago that was just taboo. Like they didn't even go there.
Right.
So
Especially that's a major channel. That's no like podunk somewhere little
no,
channel. That's that's global.
yeah, I believe it was Fox. It might have been MSNBC, but it was a main outlet, and like you're saying it's slowly finding its way into the mainstream, and you have to wonder if that's intentional to start to pre-program people to not lose it when they reveal something.
Right. Right. I'm
So
sure it is. Yeah.
that's because I believe that happens too. I mean, it's obvious that the media and the powers to be prep and use social media and or media outlets to slowly get people either brainwashed or informed of things that are coming. So who knows?
Right. That's why it's important to limit that, I think,
I
as
agree.
an individual. But, well, yeah, I mean, is there any others you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, some while we're on the new off topic, I'm sure you heard about this too, and this is not really having anything to do with UFO news, but if you have an Echo Dot or an Alexa, I would unplug that bad boy.
Oh, really?
I,
What's going on with it now?
so I'm sure you remember that I think November, December of last year, Alexa
Yeah.
was found to be randomly laughing and just doing strange things. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you had one that was
I
laughing at you at Oh Dark 30.
Yeah, and yeah, that was something. But apparently now this family in Seattle that is not giving away their last name for good reason,
Yeah.
basically had a conversation that was between this wife and husband, recorded and randomly sent to somebody on their contact list. So basically, this family obviously owned this house and installed hardware products in their home, and Alexa being one of them. So
Right.
um, they got a phone call saying from a contact on their contact list, which was one of their employees for their business, about an hour away, saying basically the phone call went, "Hey, unplug your Alexa right now. You're being recorded." And the husband goes, "What? What are you talking about? No, that can't happen." And he goes, "Oh no, you were just talking about your hardwood floors and your remodeling decisions, right?"
Wow. You there, John?
Blown away. And yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead. We missed about 10 seconds.
No problem. Basically, obviously, just floored this family.
Yeah.
And apparently, they've obviously been in contact with Amazon. I don't know what they're doing to resolve the matter with the family, but I know that the blanket statement went out of, "Hey, well, we're addressing the problem. We're sorry this happened. We're addressing it. Hush, hush, no big deal." Um, so
Oh,
hey, it's
here's a free dot so we can record more of your conversations.
right. Yeah, here, take this, Alexa Dot here as a repayment for, exactly. Yeah, just keep recording, no problem. And
Yeah. Here's
I've always
another additional wiretap for you.
right. Yeah, and so it's one of those things where there's already enough things listening in on your conversations.
Yeah.
Do you
Cell
really want
phones.
another? Yeah. Do you really want anything else in your house that can invade your privacy like that? So it's just
Yeah.
off topic, but definitely wanted to bring it up while we were off topic. So
No, that's fine. I mean, because we've talked about that stuff before.
Yep.
Remember, what was it? It wasn't necessarily the Lexus, but oh yeah, it was the cell phones. I think I don't think we talked about that. We talked about the Alexa before on this show, but it was the cell
Right.
phones that were recording, and there was
Yeah.
I think it was iPhones that had a leak, and it was similar where they were basically recording conversations, and then the next day someone would be on the internet and they would see basically what they had talked about on the phone. Like
Yeah,
they'd get pitch advertising based on what had been, I guess, tapped into over the phone.
yeah, and I can't tell you how many times that's actually happened to me and my wife in my own house. So it's just add that to the list of things that are already listening to you anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
um,
Hmm.
I mean, it's incredible. We were having a conversation, my wife and I, about, hey, if we were had enough money in the world to go buy a brand new fancy car, what would you go buy? And we our conversation ends, and she goes back into the kitchen, picks up her phone from off the island, and the next thing she sees on her phone is an ad of the cars we were talking about. So
Wow, that's
um,
weird.
yeah, it's
That's
just
really weird.
it makes you think twice. And yeah, do I want to add? I mean, I already have the Alexa, the Dot at home, and it's I unplug that thing as often as I get a chance.
Right, right. The let's see, Roswell Caesar, which should be on one of our new UFO shows coming up for
Yep.
UFO Flashback. Um, he was talking about, and I think this actually originally came from Secure Team too. But do you remember I think it was the Malaysia flight that they ever find what happened with that? They thought that was a something alien related too. Did you ever hear about that?
Yeah, that was about a month ago ish now. Basically, where this supposedly this guy on Twitter received a voicemail from what sounded to be like Siri or something to that effect,
Right.
uh, and gave out a bunch of uh, information, but basically coordinates. Long story short, was giving out coordinates to a certain place, and left Morse code, a coded message, not only with the specific um, longitude and latitude of a specific location,
Mhm.
but it also sent a message basically saying they're not human. You need to know about this, to the effect of uh, and so anyway, this story linked possibly to the Malaysian flight, because it gave out the tail number and coordinates that were similar to where the Malaysia flight was last seen on the radar. So,
Wow.
um,
Wow.
I mean, technology wise, you never know nowadays. I mean, there's so much going on that, who knows how advanced and what's actually going on behind the scenes with your Alexa Dot or your cell phone, or, I mean, heck, while we're on it, Google just came out and announced that they are creating recognition technology for drones that they're rolling out into cross-functional teams in the military. So,
Oh wow.
you know, where they can actually, with assistance, recognize a target and say, yeah, this is the guy we're going for, or no, stand down. So,
Right. That's
I
that's
mean,
super interesting. That kind of leads me to my next question, and you can, if I hear silence, I know you can't talk about it, but what's happening at base Sierra 4? Like, okay,
well,
that's what I
so
thought. That's what I thought.
there's not much. Yeah, crickets. So it's interesting you asked that. I have
Oh, they
experienced
the
Sierra
this
Base.
you cut out for 10 seconds. I think the government cut your signal.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I've had my own experience. Let's just say that I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement to. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
There's definitely something to it. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because they're talking. There's some definite activity up that way, some UFO activity, and maybe we'll try and leave that for next time to
Yeah, let's do
see if
that.
we can dig up more information for you guys. As far as we all know about Area 51 and all the happenings out there, but it sounds like there's other locations that have possible multiple sightings, possible military interaction. Who knows?
Yeah.
And we'll
Well,
try
and
and dig up what we can as much as we can without John losing his clearance.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're leading into that, because here again, that goes back to, is there tunneling going on? What's the correlation? But yeah, we're excited to bring that your guys' way next time.
Sounds good, guys. Like and subscribe. If you do, we can feed some starving kids in California. Uh,
Yeah,
or if
my kids, right?
mine too, man. Um,
They're not even teenagers yet, but they eat like a man. I'll tell you that much.
I'll bet, yeah. But yeah, please comment. Send in your UFO and Bigfoot stories, or if you just want to maybe chit chat with John and I, we love to have you on the show, and share your encounters. John and I have them, but yours might be a lot more interesting than ours. So
Absolutely, yeah. Community of truth seekers right here. So,
that's right.
email us what you guys have. We'd love to chat with you and converse and commiserate, as they say. So yeah, guys, have a safe, happy Memorial Day weekend.
Please do, yeah. And we appreciate every one of our subscribers. And as the channel continues to grow, we will continue to appreciate everyone and eventually have a live stream for you guys once we get to that point. So everybody have a great, safe weekend. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody.
I think that went pretty well.
Yeah, man. We got some